بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. When somebody is on an operating table and the surgeon does the incision, the surgery, the incisions, the cutting is there to make a person, not to break a person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the master surgeon, is there for our tarbiyat and our islah, and we should be happy with the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no matter what the outward seems, what our perception is, what people say or do. وَأُفَوِّضُ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. In all conditions, hand your matter over to Allah. When a sheep goes away far and it is alone, then the shepherd sends the dog. It attacks the sheep and makes like it is biting it, but it doesn't bite it or cause harm to it, but it's there also to bring the sheep back close to the shepherd for protection from the wolves and other animals that may destroy and harm it. So certain conditions, there is khair and benefit, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings those halat and conditions for our own benefit, not for our harm. We should be happy with the decision of Allah, even if it does not make sense at all. And if a person loses things of dunya, then that is only a loss of dunya. As for dunya, inna dunya mal'unatun wa mal'unun ma fiha. The dunya is cursed. Illa dhikrullahi wa ma walahu wa alimun aw muta'allimun. So dunya is cursed, it is valueless, it has no value. Ta'isa abdu dinari wa abdu dirham. A person who is a slave of dunya, destruction and curse. Nabi alayhi salam was rahmatul lil alameen, made badwa and cursed a person who was a slave for dunya. So the coming and going of dunya, that happens all the time. And if we don't lose it now, then when a person passes away, it goes to the inheritors. So one day this world will terminate. We need to see that we don't fall prey to the trap and the plotting of shaitan and dunya. So Hazrat Ali radiallahu anh used to say that إِنَّهَا لَدَارُ صِدْقٍ لِمَنْ صَدَّقَهَا وَدَارُ آفِيَةٍ لِمَنْ فَهِمَ عَنْهَا. That this is a true house, this dunya, who knows the reality of dunya, and it is a place of afiyah and protection for one who knows how to protect himself. وَدَارُ غِنًى لِمَنْ تَزَوَّدَ مِنْهَا. It is a house of wealth and affluence for a person who abstains. وَمَسْجِدُ أَحِبَّاءِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. It is a masjid for the lovers of Allah. وَمَحْبِتُ وَحْيِهِ. This is where revelation descended. وَمُصَلَّى مَلَائِكَتِهِ, where the malaika are worshipping Allah. وَمَجَّرُ أَوْلِيَائِهِ. And the friends of Allah, this is a place where they get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what should you do? اكتسبوا فيه رحمة. اكتسبوا فيها رحمة. That seek the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this place. This is an opportunity for finding Allah. وَرَبِحُوا فِيهَا الْجَنَّةِ. And if you want ultimate prize, then get Jannah. So on the coming and the going of dunya and things of the dunya, that should not be something which should bother us. One of these scholars was informed of his wealth being lost, and he said, Subhanallah. Then news came back that no, it wasn't your wealth, it was somebody else's. He said, Alhamdulillah, all praise to Allah. Somebody, a witnesser, asked and inquired. You said Alhamdulillah on the coming and going on both occasions. Explain to us the hikmah. He said, on the news of losses, I looked at my heart and I seen it was not disturbed. It did not affect my heart an atom's amount. I said, Alhamdulillah. I've achieved a lot, that the love of dunya has not entered my heart. Then when I was told I had not lost it, I checked my heart. Did I get happy? Was I elated? Did it affect my heart or not? I was not affected. So I said, Alhamdulillah. So the people of Iman, their connection is with Allah, not with the dunya and the things of the dunya. Sometimes a person thinks, so that I'm connected to this year, I'm affluent, I've got other options, I got second passports, I got offshore investments, I've got portfolios. A person came to Mufti Mehmood, rahmatullah alayhi, and said, I want to leave and move to this country. This problem and these issues here and this issues here. And Mufti Sahib heard him out, and after he was done, he said, is there another ilah somewhere else? Is there another ilah somewhere else? The country you go into, is there another ilah? Can you run? Can you hide? What has been destined for you will fall, will come. You cannot dodge destiny. Maulana Farouk Makki, Damat Barakatum, used to explain. He said the son of Nuh alayhi salatu wassalam seen the mountain, seen the second passport, seen the other country, seen options and solutions, and he said, Sa'awi ila jabalin, I'll go to the mountain and there I'll be saved from the water. So he said, wherever you are on earth, whatever has been destined will find you. Your solution is not running from the problem. Your solution is to connect, to find Allah and get Allah to solve our problem. When a person visits somebody and the dog is there in front of the gate barking and attacking him, if he has to open the gate, he may be mincemeat. So if he's a bodybuilder, he'll say, let me go and wrestle with this pit bull. And if he's a wise person, he'll just phone the owner and say, call in your dogs, sort them out, I'm here outside. So when halat and conditions come, then we need to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and let Allah solve the problem. To place your need in front of a being that can solve your needs is called dua. So we need to learn to solve our problems. Number 15, the asbab and causes where a person should find solutions through deen is asking the pious people connected to the Ahlullah, connected to the ulama and the mashayikh, the friends of Allah, connecting to the elderly grey-haired people and engaging them in Aamaal and dua, the youth, the youngsters, the needy people, etc. Every person where we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attention and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will listen to them, we need to get them to engage in dua and Aamaal. لولا شيوخ ركع وشباب خشع وأطفال رضع وبهائم رتع. If it was not the bowing of the shuyukh, the elderly, the ulama, the scholars, لولا عباد الله ركع, these close friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who are engaged in Allah's worship, the youth, the youngsters who are obeying Allah, they are treasure. And the young infants who were suckling and the animals that were grazing, لَصَبَّ عَلَيْكُمُ الْعَذَابَ صَبًّا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have sent adab upon adab upon adab in torrents. So find the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu read this ayah, لَوْلَا دَفُّ اللَّهِ النَّاسَ بَعْضَهُمْ بِبَعْضٍ لَفَسَدَتِ الْأَرْضِ Inna Allah la yadfaw. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blocks a calamity, a hardships, bil muslimi sali an mi'ati ahli baytin min jiranihi. Due to the barakah of this pious person, 100 homes in that radius will be protected and preserved. And then he read this ayah, if we were not for Allah analyzing and assessing the ummah on a ijtimai, on a collective basis, and seeing the good deeds, the good Aamaal, the good actions of certain people, if it was not for this year, then Allah would have not withheld the adab and the entire earth everything on earth would have been wiped out, would have been obliterated and annihilated. هل تنصرون وترزقون إلا بضعفائكم. Because of the weak, the needy amongst you, sometimes Allah's help comes in Allah's risk. لولا أهل الطاعة لهلك أهل المعصية. It was not the obedient servants of Allah, then those that are disobeying Allah, they would have been wiped out. Haji Bhai Padia rahmatullahi traveled to one country, and the person that fetched Hazrat brought him home, and you expect a person traveling on such a long journey to be exhausted and tired, and he informed him that there's been turmoil in the country, there's been rioting, etc., and the situation is quite volatile. So just make aram and we'll make mashwara tomorrow. So he waited for Hazrat to go to bed, but he went and he noticed that he was in sajda, crying to Allah and making dua. So he thought, so maybe he'll rest, I'll go check if he has any other needs. He went later that night and he heard the crying sound of Bhai Padia rahmatullahi alayhi from the room emanating. Then he waited and waited, and the whole morning passed like that. So the entire night and the morning till the time of Fajr, where he came to Hazrat and he was just concluding his ibadah and worship and rujhan ilallah. And he said that very morning we got the news that everything has been settled. The turmoil and the disruption had become calm. So certain friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through their barakah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removes conditions. Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma, yadfa'u Allah biman yusalli amma la yusalli. To the barakah of the people that read salah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes protect those who are not engaged in salah. وَبِمَن يَحُجْ, those persons that are performing Hajj, through their barakah, for those that are engaged in tazkiyah and spiritual reformation and finding Allah, through their barakah, Allah protects everybody else. Number 16, we should try to engage no matter what our condition is, no matter how little dunyawi possessions we have, but to make khidmah of the khalq, al-khalqu iyalullah, to make khidmah of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And khidmah is something noble, as we hear constantly, that through ibadat you will get thawab, reward, but through khidmat you'll get khuda, Allah. So man kana fi hajati akhihi kana Allahu fi hajatihi. Whoever's on the need of their brother, Allah comes to their need. وَمَنْ يَسَّرَ عَلَى مُعْسِرٍ يَسَّرَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. You make something easy for another Muslim brother, you give them respite, you assist them, Allah will assist you, Allah will make things easy for you. وَاللَّهُ فِي أَوْنِ الْعَبْدِ مَا كَانَ الْعَبْدُ فِي أَوْنِ أَخِيهِ. As long as you help in your brother, Allah's help is with you. So it doesn't matter, even if you have a bag of onions and you feel your neighbors need to have it, potatoes, even something فَاتَّقُوا النَّارِ وَلَوْ بِشِقِّ تَمْرَةٍ, even if it is a kajur. See, whatever little but we have, that is beloved and mahboob in Allah. So according to our capacity, we should see how we can benefit the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once Nabi alayhi salam mentioned to Sahaba, La yazalu arba'una rajulan min ummati, there'll be 40 men in this ummah. Their hearts are very special through these special servants. Ulama say they are the Abdaal, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes protect the people on the earth. So they are called the Abdaal. But you cannot become an Abdaal bis-salatin wala bis-sawmin wala bis-sadaqatin, not through your worship, through your charity, etc. Sahaba inquired, Ya Rasulullah, فَبِمَا أَدْرَكُوهَا, what special quality and Aamaal are they doing that they became the Abdaals and the chosen servants of Allah? بِالسَّخَاء وَالنَّسِيحَةِ لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ. So to be the character is exemplary, their generosity is unlimited, their concern for humanity is at a climax, at a peak beyond comprehension. They worried for the people of Iman, and their concern is for the year after. Number 17, we need to see which actions are we doing, what Aamaal am I engaged in that may cause these conditions and halat, and start abstaining. So each person knows himself. We need to introspect and we need to check ourselves. Is there anything that I am doing which may draw halat and conditions, whether it's on myself, whether it's on the family, whether it's a locality, whether it's on the entire ummah. Every action of a believer has a repercussion. فَكُلًّا أَخَذْنَا بِذَنْبِهِ. Allah took each one to task for the sin and the guna that committed. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ أَرْسَلْنَا عَلَيْهِ حَاسِبًا. Some of them Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent hurricanes. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ أَخَذَتْهُ السَّيْحَةُ. Some of them Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them by a loud bang, a noise, an awful cry. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ خَسَفْنَا بِهِ الْأَرْضِ. Some of them Allah caused the earth to swallow. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ أَغْرَقْنَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala drowned some of them. Allah never causes any dhulam or wrong to anybody. But كَانُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ يَظْلِمُونَ. Each one caused those conditions through their Aamaal and their own actions. And that's why Nabi alayhi salam addressed the Muhajirin and the Sahaba and says, Ya ma'ashar al-muhajirin, khisalun khamsun idha btulitum bihinna. 5 things which you will be tested with. Wa'udhu billahi an tudrikuhunna. And I seek refuge from Allah, lest you love the day that you see them. لم تذر الفاحش في قوم قط حتى يعلن بها. Immorality never appears amongst any people that they commit that guna openly. إلا فشا فيهم الطاعون. But plagues and diseases that were never known previously amongst their predecessors will spread amongst them, will become common. So firstly, the women, the men of the Ummah need to take stock. We need to take stock of ourselves. Our protection is in protecting the commands of Allah. Are we particular about hijab and parda, the satar? Fatima radiallahu anha didn't even want her shape of her body to be witnessed when she was dead. Whereas the women of this ummah, while they are alive, expose, forget the shapes of their body, forget the satar. Allah have mercy and guide us all. Allah guide us all. Even the men folk, their satar are exposed when they do certain sports, exercises, activities, tight clothing, etc. The shape of the body. So these are very important aspects. A husband should not even tolerate that his wife, his mother, his sister, that should make us restless and worried and concerned, that it should not be through their actions Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes me to task. So nowadays it has become a norm and a common thing that people want to expose their gunas and expose their sins through social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. The men of the ummah, the women of the ummah, the youth of this ummah have become bold in promoting disobedience. Kullu ummati mu'afan illa al-mujahirin. Every one of my followers can be forgiven except those who expose their gunas and their sins. وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْمَجَانَةِ أَن يَعْمَلَ الرَّجُلُ بِاللَّيْلِ عَمَلًا. And who is considered these people to do something at night, then the very next morning Allah had hidden him, and he tells people, Ya fulan amiltul bariya kada wa kada. As he committed that guna, he goes on his Instagram, he goes on his Facebook, and he starts exposing something. He committed a guna between him and Allah, that's between him and Allah. Secondly, that guna that he put on those platforms, he's encouraging others to do guna. So he is enjoining evil. The ummah is supposed to be enjoining good. Yeah, he's done wrong and he's encouraging evil. Thirdly, as long as that guna is on that platform, and look at the terms and conditions of these platforms, they own that image, they own that video. You can delete it, you can delete your account, they still own it. As long as that is on their cloud till Qiyamah, guna is being written. He can be doing Hajj, he can be doing Umrah, he can be making khatams upon khatams in Ramadan on Night al-Qadr. It's written a guna. وَقَدْ بَاتَ يَسْتَرُهُ رَبُّهُ وَقَدْ بَاتَ يَسْتُرُهُ رَبُّهُ. Allah made parda of that guna. Allah wanted to cover it up. Allah didn't want to expose it. وَيُسْبِهُ يَكْشِفُ سِتْرَ اللَّهِ عَنْهُ. The parda, the ghilaf, the covering which Allah protected him, He exposes it. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah used to say that that person who exposes his guna, you need to expose him openly. The people of good, even when he is dead, فَيَتْرُكُونَ, you need to abandon, not even go to his janazah namaz. The fact that he openly promoted guna, you need to openly promote his disobedience and say we will boycott his janazah. It's not a simple upload, it's not just likes. People are liking gunas, they like in our boast, in our posts. Imam Nawawi has mentioned that a person who boasts about his disobedience and his bid'at, jaza, it is permissible to expose him and tell people it's not considered as guna because you warning people about his nature. Ibn Hajar has mentioned that a person who does this, Allah is angry with him. أغضب ربه, he has drawn the anger of Allah. Ibn Battal has mentioned, and Ibn Hajar has mentioned all these points in Fathul Bari. في الجهر بالمعصية استخفاف بحق الله ورسوله وبصالح المؤمنين. By exposing your guna, you are bold in front of Allah, in front of His Rasul. You are bold in front of the believers. And this is a form وَفِي ضَرْبٌ مِّنَ الْعِنَادِ. This is open declaration of war. So we have to be very cautious. We need to take stock of our lives, and whatever we have done, make tawbah and turn to Allah. May Allah give us tawfiq of making amal. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.